The only thing temporarily being kept alive, more obviously than the Liberal Party of Canada, is in fact Doctor Who. But at least there's good news on the horizon for one of these things, because taxpayer funds and the misappropriation of said tax dollars is going to be stopped in one respect in a few short weeks. Meanwhile, leftist idiots out east are going ahead and enforcing their tyranny for what appears to be another 4 years. But I digress. Canadian politics is more pathetic than the way that they ran their entire campaign on a repudiation of Trump. Instead of worrying about the problems in your own backyard, no, just foist it on everybody else, which is actually kind of a good segue into what we're dealing with in the third episode of the second season of the Disney Doctor Who era, which is one of the most ill-advised premises that they have yet to bring forward, okay? It's not like they have been, serving up banger after banger, and it's not like anything has been remotely memorable, but this one right here, ooh boy, if they haven't driven off their core audience or legacy fans, full stop, this one right here, it's definitely going to twist the knife for the few people that are still paying attention to what's going on, or maybe just the few people that just simply watch it out of habit at this point, because there's no other way to look at these ratings, which we will towards the end, that can go ahead and describe who is still watching this slop, because it's so wild, right? Because this just came out, Friday in North America, and then Saturday on the BBC iPlayer, and it's wild, right? Nobody talked about this. It did not trend. I just, out of the sheer force of habit, went and looked. It's like, oh, do we have any ratings? It's like, oh yes, we do. Oh, and this is supposed to be for, outside of the fake Eurovision episode. This is gonna be one of the more seminal episodes, and well, let's just say your little gimmick didn't end up doing all that much. But episode 3 of season 15, series 15, however you want to refer to it as, it at least has enough connections where you can go ahead and accurately assess it as a sequel to Midnight, which is, oh boy, okay, it could have been a tantalizing proposition way back in the cut, because Midnight was a standalone episode during David Tennant's first run, which for a lot of people is, if not their favorite, at least in their top 5 favorite New Who episodes. Like, it's pretty much a masterwork that nobody really was begging for an elaboration on, let alone the people that are in charge right now, and the most miscast doctor in history. Like, Jodie Whittaker, she was like, okay, the female doctor, okay, you could argue that, but every time that I see a screenshot or see some clips of this fucking goof, he looks like he's a co-star. He looks like he's a guest star in just about every picture that we see him, okay? Even him in the TARDIS is like, that's the doctor that you have right there? That's bold casting, but yeah, when he's on set with other people, he just looks like just an upbeat interloper in whatever scene that's there. So yeah, there's a reason that nobody's really latching onto this stuff, because nobody likes his portrayal as the Doctor. And yes, for those of you that are wondering, the streak is in fact still intact, as he did cry in this episode as well, because that's all that Ncuti is good for. Being gay and crying. That's the only speed that he knows, and boy does he do it exceptionally well. It's just not resonating, okay? But hey, on the bright side, Millie Gibson is back, I guess, for a second, but it's going to be pretty interesting, right? Because next week is going to be an exploration of a straight white couple in England, presented on the BBC. Oh yeah, he's probably going to be evil. I think we can probably go ahead and already just, mark that down as a reality, because there is no way in hell, as proud as they are, and how Ncuti said at the beginning of the season when he's looking off to his brand new upgraded partner, oh boy, we're really going to piss a lot of people off with our non-white TARDIS. But yes, a Doctor Who Season 15, Episode 4, Ruby Sunday and new boyfriend Conrad's Amy and Rory vibe teased by Millie Gibson. Oh my god. As Ruby Sunday prepares to return to Doctor Who Season 15, Millie Gibson teases how the new love in her life has changed the former companion's life. I can tell you that Conrad is a very interesting character. I think the fans are going to see an Amy and Rory vibe to them. They're going to think it's kind of the vibe that's going on. Conrad really sees a lot of himself in the Doctor, and he kind of wants to be Ruby's doctor because she eventually lets her walls down for him and opens up to him. She really oh, I'm sorry, she really seen by him for the first time, because holy shit, I'm already bored by this stuff. This is Doctor Who, a kicked off companion, telling her love story. Oh, it's so fantastic. I am so glad this is what people want, okay? Obviously, it isn't what they want, because you do a sequel to Midnight, you explain the monsters from Midnight, and what do you end up getting from a production standpoint? The Well is capably executed. However, beyond the captivating performance from guest star Rose Ayling-Ellis, the episode does little to rise above its roots as a standard base Under Siege story, instead of relying on its ties to series 4 acclaimed Midnight, whose monsters is inconsistently portrayed here. That's so fantastic. That is so fantastic. You go back and you shit on a seminal episode because you're completely and totally bereft of ideas of your own, and you wonder why nobody is watching this goddamn show, because we got a couple of updates when it comes to the ratings, and well, we'll just get The Well out of the way. 1.86 million, which if you can go ahead and deduce, is quite a step up from Lux's series Basement at 1.58 million, which, yeah, everybody was shocked by, and maybe there was something going on with the whole Easter throwing things off, because if I was to go ahead, okay, and you were to throw those overnight numbers out there on the desk, and you say, okay, that's the first 3 weeks, go ahead and organize them, what you think, I would have thought that the 1.86 would have presaged 1.58, but we would have eventually got to a 1.5 rating at some point in time. Didn't think it was going to be that quick, and it was definitely an inevitability. I'm just also thinking by the time episode 4, episode 5, and definitely by the end of the season rolls back around, yeah, that's not going to be the only thing with a 1.5 next to it. But I think what is more telling, and definitely, okay, it's not like people heard good things about the first episode, okay, or, hey, just because you didn't have that time on Easter to come back around, okay, it's still out there on the iPlayer, it's still on Disney Plus for the world to see, but 3 million people confirming that Lux is the lowest viewed episode of Doctor Who of all time. We've got the +4 numbers, which is, as you can tell, normally about 200,000 screens, give or take, different from the +7s, which we still don't have. We'll probably have by this time next week, maybe, potentially. Who knows, man? But it's a dead series, destroyed by the message, and Russell T Davies just willing to throw more dirt on the casket on his way out the door. We know he's working on a project over at Channel 4. We know that Ncuti and Verada and everybody else that is working on this has no idea if there's going to be a season 3. And in fact, the only thing that we're hearing is, oh, you know what? All good shows must eventually come to an end. We eventually need to head for a hiatus. And all of the stories that we want to tell right now, well, we could just go ahead and refine them 5-10 years in the future. That's normally what healthy franchises do, right? They go on ice for the better part of a decade, right? Right? Wrong. Russell T Davies demands more race and gender swaps for Doctor Who. Says he'd cast Viola Davis as the Master because, hey man, hot off the heels of G20, I mean, who wouldn't want to have an ass-kicking 60-year-old strong, independent black woman head up your bomb of a series? Why wouldn't you want to do that? Just go ahead. As you're just driving the stuff, I would say, yeah, driving it into the ground. No, just burying it 6 feet under at this point in time. Why not just, continue to piss people off more and more? Doctor Who is returning, yes, for a second season. We already got that part, but since Russell T Davies has returned as showrunner for Doctor Who, he's turned the show into a nightmare of identity politics. Yep, aside from the obvious turning the Doctor into a black gay man with Ncuti Gatwa's 60th anniversary as David Tennant's brief run. Featured a character, Rose, a black transgender man presenting as a woman. Donna's a daughter who is very beautiful and stunning and brave, which was reinforced throughout that entire episode. And then, in the the second of the 3 60th anniversary specials, it was revealed that, the Doctor is also canonically gay because he wanted to go out there and bone. Which historical figure is that? Who remembers? Oh, right. That would be Sir Isaac Newton. I remember Isaac Newton, right? Because he had a bowl of curry fall on his head when he discovered gravity, right? No, right. Yeah, no, but that's the way that the BBC wants it all to be. Yes, Bubble and Dot, an entire planet worth of people didn't want to be saved by the Doctor because he was black. It's all just a big old sounding board talking about Doctor Who for a bunch of racial and sexual grievances that this fat-headed retard is still spiteful and bitter over him having to deal with earlier in his career. I couldn't imagine, right? Still holding a grudge like this some 20, 30 years on after making it in the industry. Bro, you brought back Doctor Who and made it incredibly successful, and you're still going to hold a grudge after all of this time, after you have all of the adulation, you had all of the praise from not just Doctor Who fans, but from fans of television, full stop. You made multiple successful shows. Yeah, you ended up having a personal tragedy befall you, but do you have to take all of your grievances out? Do you have to burn down your legacy in order to prove a point? Well, I guess the one that you were setting out to prove, it didn't end up coming to fruition, but I guess, hey man, if you just wanted to be a spiteful asshole and for everybody to forget your contributions on the way out the door, mission accomplished, I suppose. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.